Hey everyone, this is Rocky from WeLearnChess.com, and as I mentioned in my last video, here's another video of one of my other games from the tournament that I played this morning, the 5-0 Blitz tournament. And similar to the last game where my opponent got a little bit carried away on the queen side, forgot about his king, we'll see that theme again here. I had the white pieces. My opponent was about 1850 Blitz rating, Chess.com. I think I was about 100 points lower at the time. Played like a perk here. I always forget when it's a modern, when it's a perk. Just played h3 just to avoid any pin ideas because it'd be kind of annoying. I'm not sure if that's really accurate though. Black a lot of times wants to advance these pawns, get in a quick b5 and push the a and the b pawns down. So I just played a4. That's kind of like a reactive move, but just to get a lot of pressure on this. So I've got the knight is on that, the bishop on that, and obviously the pawn. So it slows down his queenside expansion. Also, a lot of times, black likes to push these pawns and then fianchetto to the bishop this way. I played f4, this kind of Austrian attack style, just so that it supports an e5 break, where when you play e5, then you've got some nice support for it, and it also slows down black's potential idea of playing e5 himself, because he would just lose a pawn. So it's risky, of course, because you're opening up your king, and I haven't moved any of my kingside pieces yet. So he castled, and I started to get developed on the king side. This was kind of interesting. He wants to come to this weak b4 square, I guess, or potentially maybe push this pawn, and then after a trade bring the knight in that way. Because I have played a4, so b4 is weak. But I actually just decided to take this for a few reasons. One, because either obviously he has to double his pawns, or he has to bring his rook out of play. The other thing is that sometimes when the bishop's on c4, it's subject to attack of pawn advances and can screw up your center. Or if it's on d3, a lot of times it's just fighting on a rock here. But one thing that the bishop does do on d3, I've noticed, is like a lot of times black will bring his bishop out to f5. Like after e5, the bishop might come to f5, and it's nice to have your bishop on d3 to oppose that. And make him think twice about it, because maybe he'll just have to wreck his kingside structure if he gets it out there. So anyway, my opponent chose to not double his pawns. But now his rook is a little bit out of play. I castled, and he's just trying to develop, I guess, and he's thinking about his queenside expansion, if I had to guess. Just took this opportunity to play e5 and start to open up an attack on the king side. And yeah, taking is kind of probably undesirable. I mean, I've got a lot of open space here to move my pieces. Like maybe the rook could use the f4 square to come over. I could try to do the sort of typical queen bishop battery, eliminate this bishop. I've got knight jumps. I might even have kingside pawn pushes if I can keep the center under control. So yeah, lots of ideas here. So I guess that's why black didn't take. Instead he played back, but then this gives kind of a funny impression with all these pieces blocking in the king and the pawns obviously too. On the one hand, I guess he's got a lot of defenders, but the coordination of the pieces is so awkward that it makes defending a little bit tough, as we'll see. Okay, so I just took the opportunity to bring my knight in closer to the king. Also, it's nice to be able to play c3 sometimes, where you kind of shore up your center in case some trades happen and you don't want this bishop to necessarily be able to just take on b2. Also, of course, if the knight was still in play and wanted to come down to this square, then c3 can help avoid things like that. Okay, so he played bishop f5, which seemed a little bit strange to me, because I thought it was pretty clear that g3 was my destination point, although I guess it could have even gone to some other squares. And he decided not to move this. I guess he thought he was going to be okay after he played his pawn to e6 and kind of closed everything up. But I'm getting a lot of pieces quickly into the attack here. And he does go ahead and play e6 obviously to defend this pawn and give his queen a route in, but I'm faster with my pieces. My queen's in, and it doesn't really look like I'm going to get a huge attack, but after my next couple moves it really starts to open up. This move, he just wants to play his knight over and attack my queen, but I've got squares that I can go to, so I just went ahead and tried to start to open up the g-file. He does attack the queen, but I can just park it right here on h6, and there's a lot in the way before he'll be able to, I mean, he probably won't be able to attack laterally, so it's a pretty safe square. He took, and I took. I was thinking about maybe trying to move and take that with a rook, but I wanted to play faster, and I might be able to use these pawns to further open the position. So yeah, I wasn't sure. I guess he tried to give himself some luft for the king, and maybe try to trade some pieces here. the computer pointed out here that I could play g5 and really start to open things up. I didn't really look at the lines, but like something like if takes, even if he trades a piece, that might even be worse because now I've got this f file and the queen can't come over, and I've got ideas of pushing this pawn, maybe playing the rook up to a safe square, getting the king behind it, and then so I still have control of the f file, and then I could potentially move the, well, to either of these squares actually, but over to h3 and potentially push the pawn and try to get attack on either h7 or h8. Lots of attacking ideas, so that looked pretty dangerous. So I didn't see that opportunity until a little bit later. So in the game, I played the knight back. I was thinking about playing g5. I was just kind of preparing at first. And here I couldn't tell if he it seemed like he felt safe. This is what reminded me of the other game, just because, yeah, I mean, I guess he feels like he has a lot of defenders around his king. He can always drop this rook back if he wants to defend laterally. And so he wanted to start to get some counterplay on the queen side. I mean, maybe there wasn't anything better, but yeah, this looks pretty dangerous. I mean, he knows I'm not going to take yet on f6, but I don't think he saw my idea of g5. First I moved my king up because I wanted to start to get my rooks to the h file. Again, g5 was probably strong. He dropped back because I guess he started to see, that I was going for 7, so he's in time to defend laterally. And here again, g5 was really strong because, again, if he takes, I mean, knight takes is also strong, but I wonder if even pawn takes might be better, just again with ideas of pushing at a timely point. And this bishop is, I mean, might even have to sacrifice itself. I think the computer wants to just do it right away. But, yeah, it's just the pieces are all in each other's way. So, again, I missed that opportunity because I was so intense. Sometimes when you're so focused on one idea, you forget to look at other stuff. But I just wanted to triple up here. And I finally got around to playing g5. And, yeah, this is, oops, this didn't happen in the game. I was looking at other lines for a second. What did he play here? Oh, he just played rook g6 and got mated. And this was kind of funny because you just look like everything's boxing and his king has nowhere to go. And it's all pieces. Usually you're boxed in by your pawns. But, yeah, so I was looking at other lines where if, of course, he didn't blunder the mate, what else could he do here? And, yeah, I mean, again, taking with the knight is interesting. Taking with the pawn is interesting. It's so well protected. I mean, he can't even do something like this because my bishop's got it, my queen's got it, and I'm still tripling up. So, and I've got this check. Yeah, actually, that's what I was looking at before. I could play this check. I'm not even sure which rook he should block with. Then maybe play the pawn over. If he tries to do something like this, I can take this pawn, or I can just come back. And yeah, there's just so much pressure. It's tough to imagine that he would be able to survive this without heavy material loss. So yeah, he blundered the mate, but anyway, it was not looking very good for him. And got another queenside or another kingside attack on the H file. 2 games in the same tournament. That was pretty fun. All right, so I hope you liked that video, and I'll see you around for the next one.